Louisiana. It's a state celebrated globally for its culture, its resilience, and its vibrant soul. But if you look past the parade routes and the tourist centers, you find a different reality. A growing, deeply human crisis is gripping the boot, and the numbers are moving in the wrong direction. We are dealing with chronic economic stagnation in many regions, relying on low-wage service economies that don't pay living wages. We face a relentless cycle of natural disasters that physically wipe out housing stock faster than it can be rebuilt. And finally, we are hit hard by a severe national shortage of affordable housing units, driving rents up even in traditionally cheaper areas. While this is a statewide issue affecting rural and urban areas alike, 3 cities are bearing the heaviest burden. We're breaking down the top 3 cities facing the steepest uphill battle, starting in the northern part of the state. Coming in at number 3 is the hub of northwest Louisiana, Shreveport. Shreveport's challenge is deeply rooted in a slow-burn economic shift. Historically, this was an oil, gas, and manufacturing powerhouse that provided stable, middle-class incomes. Over the last few decades, those industries fluctuated violently or left entirely. They were largely replaced by a service and retail economy. The issue is that a full-time job at a dollar store or a fast food counter does not pay enough to cover average rent and utilities in 2024. You have a massive population of the working poor living one car repair away from eviction. Furthermore, Shreveport deals with a crisis of quality. It has an aging housing stock where many affordable units are substandard, plagued by mold, structural issues, and neglect. People are often forced to choose between living on the street or living in dangerous conditions because it's all they can afford. Local news has been tracking this hidden decay for years.
They need to go to jail for what they're doing. They're taking our money and they're not taking care of the bill like they're supposed to. I think they need to go to jail.
You just heard from one of several tenants we've spoken to at multiple Shreveport apartment complexes in the past few months as they are packing up their bags and moving because despite them paying their rent to their apartment complexes, the apartments haven't been paying the water bill to the city, therefore putting the residents at risk of water disconnection.
In Shreveport, the homelessness crisis is often quieter than in the South. It's hidden behind crumbling walls of houses that should be condemned, driven by an economy that no longer supports its working class. Number 2 brings us to the capital city, Baton Rouge. The situation here is unique because geography is destiny. Baton Rouge sits on higher ground than the coast, acting as a sponge for the rest of the state. When hurricanes strike New Orleans or Houma, thousands flee to the capital for resources and safety. This creates massive, sudden shocks to the local housing market and social services. Many evacuees, after storms like Katrina, Ida, and others, never go back home. They become permanent residents, increasing competition for limited low-income housing. But the critical turning point for Baton Rouge itself was the devastating flood of 2016. That flood didn't just damage homes, it wiped out a huge percentage of the city's naturally occurring affordable housing. The older, cheaper apartments that didn't require government subsidies to be affordable. 8 years later, that stock has not been fully replaced.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a dramatic rescue in the historic flooding caught on tape. You can see here in the video a car submerged in water. And that's when rescuers jump in. Take a look at the amazing rescue.
Give me a knife. Give me a knife. Give me a knife. We're coming.
Watch your eyes. Right? Watch your eyes.
Go.
Breaking the window.
Go.
When you destroy thousands of cheap units and don't rebuild them, but the population keeps growing, prices skyrocket. In Baton Rouge, you now have state workers and university students competing for apartments with disaster evacuees. This pressure cooker pushes the most vulnerable, the elderly, the disabled, the very poor, out of the market entirely and onto the streets. And that brings us to number 1. The epicenter of the crisis in Louisiana is, undeniably, New Orleans. New Orleans has the highest raw numbers, and it is where the problem is most visibly acute. The sprawling encampments under the downtown overpasses are a stark daily reminder of the city's deep disparities. The primary driver here is a brutal tourism paradox. New Orleans runs on a service economy. The culture bearers, the musicians, the cooks, hotel cleaners, who draw millions of tourists, often earn minimum or near minimum wage. They make the city rich, but they cannot afford to live in it. This is turbocharged by the short-term rental crisis. Every modest home bought up to become a full-time Airbnb is one less home for a local family. This drastically reduces supply and drives up rents across the entire city, not just in tourist areas. The city's response has often been reactive rather than proactive, relying on sweeps to clear encampments, which often just displaces people to another block without solving the underlying lack of shelter beds or affordable housing.
Business owner on Claiborne Avenue says he's seeing more and more homeless camps popping up along the street. It comes as the Salvation Army says fewer people are seeking help from them.
Eleanor Tabone shows us why some solutions have been hard to find.
The weekly shelter report came out and there were 381 beds available in area shelters.
In New Orleans, the glitter of the tourist economy hides a desperate, daily struggle for basic survival, just blocks away from the party. If you live in these cities, let me know what you're seeing on the ground in the comments below. Thanks for watching.